Okay, so picture it. February 27, 1776. Dawn creeps over Moore's Creek Bridge in southeastern North Carolina. Across the creek, 1,000 Highland Scots in full battle kilts, charged with swords raised, bagpipes screaming, faces painted for war. Loyalist wives, North Carolinians, watch from boats moored downstream, clutching babies to their chests. This is their husband's last chance. British Governor Josiah Martin has promised ships waiting offshore. If these Scots can break through, the American Revolution dies and North Carolina can get back sane in the firm hug embrace of the British Empire. We know that's not going to happen. Y'all, this is Joko Yo. Welcome back, and I'm Joey, and today we take a trip into the earliest parts of our country's history and how everything could have changed. Everything, if not for one guy from Smithfield. I kid you not. Surprises me too. As those Highland Scots are ready to go, they decide they were going to charge. And the Patriot line, the rebels line at the time didn't flinch. And I pause because the Patriot now means pro-American, but Patriot then really well could have meant the British because that we were a British colony. But the rebels line doesn't flinch. Behind hastily thrown up earthworks stands a whole bunch of Johnston County riflemen, tobacco farmers, blacksmiths, small planters who dropped their plows and picked up their muskets when the call came. They've greased this bridge with bear fat. They've sawed through key supports, made it look like the bridge was solid. They loaded rifles with double buck and ball, and the Scots, are going to hit the bridge at full sprint for the king. And as they run across that bridge, it collapsed beneath them. Leading officers Donald MacDonald and Donald MacLeod plunged dead into the creek. Hundreds more follow. In 30 blood-soaked minutes, North Carolina, its entire history is determined by those 30 minutes. Everything we know for the next 250 years about North Carolina and bigger American history changes in that 30 minutes on Moore's Creek Bridge. Moore's Creek was not a skirmish. It was the South's Lexington and Concord. It was the first decisive Patriot victory below New England. Without it, Lord Charles Cornwallis walks into an open door 4 years later, and the revolution ends. But who commanded those Johnston County riflemen who shredded the charge? Nope. It was not Richard Caswell. It was not Alexander Lillington. We know those names. We'll come back to him. These Johnston County men were not professionals. They were your neighbors from around Smithfield and Four Oaks, Benson, before those towns existed. Hard men who answered the call when Governor Martin tried raising a loyalist army, a British army, the government's army, from Scottish immigrants up in Cumberland County. Their leader rose fast. He was a major by 1776, lieutenant colonel by 79, full colonel commanding 300 plus through the war's brutal final years. Camden, Guilford Courthouse, the Carolina backcountry bloodbath where Cornwallis finally bled out trying to conquer the South. In 1781, Yorktown falls. Most Continental officers cash their land bounties to go home to farm, but not this colonel. 8 years of militia service earned him 500 free acres beyond the Appalachians, North Carolina's reward for men who kept the state in the fight. Where others retire, he picks up his rifle and marches west. But I cannot emphasize enough that had this man not defended that bridge against the British, Cornwallis does. If he doesn't do that, Cornwallis makes a firm hold on North Carolina, gets North Carolina back under control, marches victorious into Virginia. He's not surrounded, and the British keep the American South and use it as a gateway to reconquer, to bring back under control all the rebelling states, colonies, not states. They would never become states had it not been for Moores Creek Bridge. There's no America without the Battle of Moores Creek Bridge and one man that led that whole thing to try to fight for independence. This guy we're talking about. When the war is done, he picks his rifle and doesn't go home. He marches west. In 1783, the frontier isn't empty, it's madness. John Seviers declared a rogue state of Franklin. He's going to make a brand new state. Calls it Franklin after Ben Franklin, hoping to get his support. The brand new state in a brand new country, but this brand new state of North Carolina says, no, you're still ours. You don't just get to start states. Funny, they did, but whatever. Cherokee warriors are going to raid the state of Franklin from the Smokies, enraged over stolen land that was promised to them. Spain stirs trouble from New Orleans, whispering independence, deals to peel settlers away. And straight into this meat grinder of a brand new rogue state of Franklin rides this same guy from Smithfield. He claims a place that he calls Grassy Springs, 5 life-giving springs on the Holston River, ground zero for what becomes Hawkins County, Tennessee. No forts, no roads, just militia veterans and their families carving permanence from wilderness, while back home, legislatures bicker over whether Franklin lives or dies. Dumpling Creek treaties, Cherokee land cessions, North Carolina reclamation, he threads that needle. His military service protected his home state from loyalist reconquest, but now he's taken up the frontier settlement opening the American West. Y'all, as fantastical as I've made his Moores Creek Bridge exploit sound, it's not wrong. Neither is it wrong to say if it weren't for this man, you would probably not have the state of Tennessee as we know it. He's one of the first founders. 2 careers, 1 man. He wins North Carolina's first decisive battle, locking down independence when the Revolution hung by a thread in the South, and then plants one of Tennessee's first permanent settlements during the most chaotic decade in Appalachian history, turning North Carolina militia service into American expansion beyond the mountains. That man was Colonel John Smith of Smithfield, Johnston County, North Carolina. Son of John Smith Sr., they were great with their names back then. The name is where Smithfield gets his name from. Local tobacco farmer who commanded the Johnson County Regiment through 13 campaigns. No famous speeches, no dramatic death scene, just relentless competence across 2 different frontiers, Revolutionary soldier and then Tennessee pioneer. But imagine if he failed. No Smith at Moores Creek? No kidding, no doubt. The Scots break through. It was his idea to cut the supports of the bridge. Governor Martin retakes Wilmington. North Carolina stays loyalist. No safe Patriot base. Cornwallis conquers the South early and easy. The revolution south of Virginia collapses. No Smith at Grassy Springs. Tennessee's Holston settlements falter in Franklin chaos. Cherokee and Spanish alliances hold. No stable American corridor to the Mississippi. The Trans-Appalachian West stays contested for decades. Spanish territory, native land are balkanized forever. Y'all, not only helps give birth to the United States, but also plays a role in making sure that the West is also gained by this new country without even really trying. Textbooks give you Washington, Nathaniel Greene, Morgan, dozens of famous colonels. But the Smithfield farmer who survived Moores Creek and helped design the whole thing, and survived the state of Franklin Madness to help build a brand new state? Nobody knows that man, but you do. Colonel John Smith, one of Smithville's founding fathers, and also one of America's that no one knows of, the man who kept two states American. That's that. Pretty cool. Y'all, be good.